pickup artist.
No.
You're not a life coach. What would you describe yourself as?
That's a good question. I'm not a pickup artist. I'm not an MRA.
What's that?
Men's rights activist.
Okay.
MRM is men's rights movement. MRA.
You disagree with Migtao.
I don't disagree with Migtao in analysis and in principle. Pretty much Migtao are red pill guys. It's just that they have a solution that I don't necessarily agree with. Like I was saying before,
They're a little too radical.
Well, some of them are. See, that's the thing is a lot of I'm got to get this right because I know people are going to lose their shit. But but Migtao is so scattered right now that so many guys will say, well, MGTOW's one thing, MGTOW's the way I live, and MGTOW's men going their own way. And remember when we were just talking about how I think the red pill starts with mental point of origin. It also starts there in MGTOW as well. It's like you got to stop making women the metric by which you measure yourself. And like I was saying before, once I stop doing that, that's when suddenly I succeed. Suddenly I have, what I have. Suddenly I'm starting to build. Suddenly I'm starting to grow more. And as a result, I have more of the things that attract women because I'm more self-concerned. I'm not saying, selfish prick, whatever, but not self-absorbed. I'm trying to get the right one here. I'm selfish, but just sort of self-important, right? To make yourself your first. Well, that's definitely a tenet of MGTOW. MGTOW says, I no longer will use women as the metric for my own self-esteem, for the things that I want to do. And I completely 100% agree with that. It's when you start saying stuff like, I never want to talk to women again. I never want to engage with women. It's too dangerous. There's a spectrum of MGTOW. There's the guys who are just like red pill, who might agree with everything I have to say. And I think if I align with anybody, it would be MGTOW, but I don't agree with MGTOW solutions. Because as I said before, I think men and women are complements to one another, and we're better together than we are apart. As it stands right now, you've got feminism telling women never do anything for the express pleasure of a man, never do anything you are a strong, independent woman. That independence means I am independent of men. It means I'm going to go over here and I'm not going to make men the measuring stick of my life. Well, what are the MGTOWs doing? They're saying, well, I'm not going to make women the metric by which I'm going to evaluate my own life. Great, fine, but that doesn't solve our long-term problems. How do you get MGTOWs and feminists to the table and saying, look, you know what? You'd probably be better off if you guys, could find some way to coexist, to live as complements, and to have children. And we keep talking about fertility rates and all this other crap that's in the sphere. How do you get men and women to the table to talk about that? And right now, I think, honestly, I don't think it's a MGTOW problem. I think it's a feminist problem because it's getting women to come to basically humble themselves and to say, hey, look, maybe some of the stuff that you're talking about is actually correct. And, but we don't tell women that. Women believe that they're an oppressed class, that they in some way, that they're entitled to the hot guy and they don't need a man to be their provider, their support. That's what independence is. And that's what they're getting right now. Was it like in 2025 or 2026, it's forecast anyways that women will have 65% of all the master's and doctorate degrees. Will also, women 35 and above, or what's the demographic? I think it's from like 23 to 35 will be unmarried. The majority of women will be unmarried going into this next decade. And nobody asks why. Nobody says, well, why is this? Or you'll see these articles about how women are looking for, they'll complain about how they can't find a guy who is economically attractive. And we wonder why, when women are, have the majority of the degrees, they're making more money. Was it it'll be 50 or 55% of women will be the breadwinners of their household by 2030.
Wow.
And okay, nobody's asking why. Nobody's saying, well, it must be because women are badasses and guys are just dropping the ball. No, there's a lot more that's going on with that. So with respect to MGTOW, I don't identify as a MGTOW. I understand what they have to say. I just don't agree with their solutions. When I look at the red pill, I look at it as a praxeology. And so it's kind of like, my friend Ryan Stone's called it the Chilton Manual of Intersexual Dynamics. It's understanding how the mechanics work. It's not an ideology. It's not necessarily even a solution. It is a tool set and a toolbox that helps guys live better lives because they have an accurate set of tools. If people ask me, I just say I'm red pill. I'm red pill aware.